This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. It has been revealed that an entity has expressed an interest in acquiring Jamaica's oil refinery, Petroleum. Senator Camino Johnson-Smith, Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister, made the disclosure at a media briefing on Monday afternoon. Senator Johnson-Smith said two offers were made between December and this month. One to purchase the shares of Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica and the other to buy Pbcj's shares. She, however, declined to name the company. Senator Johnson-Smith said the offer was made by the company and it was not accepted by the government. She raised questions about the authenticity of the offer. Jamaica has a 51% shareholding in Petroleum, while Venezuela's state-owned company Pbcj owns the remaining 49%. The curfew imposed in the Kingston Western Division in accordance with the Law Reform Zones of Special Operations, Special Security and Community Development Measures Act has been extended. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Sunday, January 13, and will remain in effect until 6 a.m. on Wednesday, January 16. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. North along Racecourse Lane, Blunt Street, from the intersection of Little King Street traveling to the fence line, forming the western periphery of the Golden Heights housing development. Also annexing the northern and eastern sections of the said development, traveling south along the paved gully and continuing to the intersection of William Street and Upper Rose Lane. East along Rose Lane from the intersection of William Street, continuing south along Rose Lane to the intersection of Beeston Street and Rose Lane. South along Beeston Street from Rose Lane, continuing west along Beeston Street to the intersection of Spanish Town Road and southwest along Spanish Town Road and to Little King Street, excluding Denham Town High School and Denham Town Police Station. West along Little King Street from Spanish Town Road to the intersection of Racecourse Lane, Blunt Street. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. President of the Court of Appeal Justice Dennis Morrison is calling on members of the private bar to apply to become judges. Justice Morrison made the appeal recently while speaking at the first sitting of the Court of Appeal for the Hillary term in downtown Kingston. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Bar Association, Jacqueline Cummings, who spoke with Nationwide, says she believes the attorneys would be more willing to apply if there was more transparency in the salary scale of judges. In the meantime, Justice Dennis Morrison says 3 more judges are to be recruited by the end of this year. There's now 10 judges sitting at the Court of Appeal. 3 of them were recently appointed. Inmates of Fort Augusta Adult Correctional Center again took to Facebook Live on the weekend, claiming that since their first appearance to raise security concern, the authorities have been violating their rights. In the video, which is 4 minutes and 15 seconds long, inmates dressed in full-body disguise and said they were being denied medication and food by prison authorities, and in one instance, an inmate was abused. The Director of Corporate Communications and Public Relations at the Department of Correctional Services, Dexter Thompson, refuted the claims about denial of food and medication. The government is being urged to use this year, which marks the centennial celebrations of the International Labour Organization and the 100th anniversary of the passing of the Trade Union Act of 1919 to speed up the passage of legislations on sexual harassment and occupational safety and health. It is also being urged to use the occasion to provide a statutory right to paternity leave for Jamaican men at the workplace. The call is being made by Danny Roberts, head of the Hugh Shearer Labour Studies Institute. He said that the opportunity should be used this year to review a number of labour legislations, including the maternity leave law. He noted that paternity leave provisions are becoming more common across the globe and reflect evolving views about the importance of fatherhood in a child's development. The PBCJ went to the streets to find out Jamaicans' views on paternity leave for men late last year. Here's a look if you missed it.
Yes, I am of the belief that Jamaican men should be given paternity leave, and I can draw on the example of my friend who lives in Japan. He informed me that he was on 1 year paternity leave, and he explained to me that in his country they actually partner with insurance companies. So for example, in the first half of the year he gets 60% of his pay, and then the next half he gets 50%, which is still very good. And I think it gives him an opportunity to be in the home and help raise the child and help out the mother who just come off having extensive labor. You know, she's going to need all the help she can, and with the mother and father in the home, that would be good for the child. Whereas in Jamaican society, most men are absent anyways, and they're not a part of the child rearing. So I think it would be a good opportunity to him.
Well, I believe that it would be good to have men a part of the maternity leave. Here's why I say that. So there is a philosophy that I subscribe myself to, and that's the Ubuntu. I am because we are. And we have a crisis in Jamaica right now where not many men are a part of the raising of their children. So maybe if we look in the direction of saying once the fathers are available and they want to take some time off to spend time with the wife and to help with raising of the child, just to help change even a diaper, just to help put the baby to sleep, you know. Pregnancy and then giving birth to a child, you know, that it takes a lot out of the woman. So I believe that we should look into giving men a chance to be a part of the maternity leave so that they can be a critical part in the raising of their children.
A ganja bust on the Spring Gardens main road in Westmoreland on the weekend resulted in the seizure of 2 motor vehicles and the arrest of 2 men. The police said the 2 motor cars were intercepted during an operation about 7:30 p.m. They were searched and compressed ganja weighing approximately 1,400 pounds was reportedly found. The drug has been estimated at street value of $5.6 million. In regional news, the head of Venezuela's opposition-controlled parliament was briefly detained days after saying he was ready to assume the country's presidency. According to the BBC, Juan Guaido was traveling to a rally when intelligence agents intercepted his car north of the capital, Caracas. President Nicolas Maduro was sworn in for a second 6-year term on Thursday. The opposition calls him illegitimate, and Mr. Guaido said on Friday he was ready to assume the Venezuelan presidency on an interim basis. His wife, Fabiana Rosales, and daughter were traveling with him to a political rally in the coastal town of Carabedales when the incident happened. BBC South America says the exact circumstances surrounding Sunday's events were still unclear, but the arrest, it explained, seems to be designed to send a message to those who oppose Mr. Maduro. The Inter-American Development Bank says exports from Latin America and the Caribbean, including Jamaica, hit their highest level in 6 years as a result of a 9.9% increase in 2018, albeit amid growing downside risks in the future. A new IDB report noted that the region exported US $1.08 trillion last year. According to the report, exports from Jamaica increased by 17.6% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2018 after growing 9% on average in 2017. It noted that the stronger expansion was due to increased exports of raw materials, excluding fuel and machinery, and transportation equipment. Mexico and the Caribbean region were above average regional export performers, with South America lagging. The IDB report noted that a decline in mineral and agricultural product prices hurt export performance, which was only partially offset by higher oil prices. In sports, the senior REGGAE girls, along with head coach Hugh Menzies and his technical support staff, are to partake in a critical evaluation training camp this week. The camp, which will be held in St. Anne from January 16 to January 21, is being organized by the Jamaica Football Federation in conjunction with the Ministry of Sports. Only 12 of the 32 players set to participate were not in the qualifying stages for the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. The REGGAE girls, the first Caribbean team to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup, were drawn in Group C alongside number 6 ranked Australia, number 10 ranked Brazil, and Italy, ranked at number 16. Making a return to the competition for the first time since 1999. And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Remember, we are the People's Station.